You match with a beautiful woman. You're trying to flirt with her. You do so by belittling something she's clearly proud of. Have you ever flirted before? Are you fucking new here? Like, to me, it's just embarrassing. You're like day one talking to a woman and you think it's funny. This is his first time speaking to a woman and he's laughing. None of us are laughing.
Dude, where are you? Pick up your phone. I'm going to a summer party tonight, and you're obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, I love you. Bye.
What's up, lover girls? Welcome back to Emotionally Online, the weekly summer party for heart-to-hearts and hot gossip, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drossbeck, who is currently in a hot tub holding a Diet Coke. What is better than this? Name one singular thing. The sun is shining. It's miraculously a really nice day out today after being kind of cold and windy these last few days, but trust, I have been in this hot tub regardless. This is kind of a different Emotionally Online episode. It's an on-the-go episode. I'm up in Maine at my parents' house visiting my grandma while my parents are on vacation because that lady deserves to be in company 24/7. I've been here with my grandma, living it up and relaxing it up in this hot tub, which personally, I believe that a hot tub is one of the best places to gossip. A hot tub, end of the day gossip session, night hot tubbing. All the seats are filled. You're getting into the weeds, debriefing the hot gossip that has been on the tip of your tongue all day long. Like, that is a peak experience. And I'm so glad that's pretty much exactly what we get to do today. And honestly, it's kind of what I've been doing all week. I had a video do some numbers on TikTok where I was sitting in this exact spot talking about Summer House, ranting, might I add. Similar topic to what I started talking about in last week's episode about season 5 of Summer House and the Hannah Burner hate train that I saw online, and how as I was watching the season, I was like, I don't really get it. Can confirm I've finished season 5 of Summer House. Not even one point throughout my watch journey did I understand why the audience disliked Hannah at the time the show was airing. Did a whole video about it on TikTok, sitting here, prime gossiping position, and Paige DeSorbo commented on it, which was kind of bananas. It's just crazy because I'm spending the majority of my day consuming these people, and I'm so late to the game. Like, season 5 of Summer House was filmed in 2020. Like, I am divulging into 6 years old gossip, which to me is kind of the best gossip to divulge into because it's like so far in the past that it's neither here nor there. Who cares? Everyone's moved past it except for me. Except for me, bitch. I'm still here. But it's just kind of a weird space to be in because I'm watching these people on my TV day in and day out, and then Paige comments on my TikTok and I'm like, hey, queen, that's so crazy. I was literally watching Winter House, was locked in on a couple episodes, not on my phone. Check back in. Paige is in my comments like, period. What'd she say? Actually, she said louder. That's what she commented. So all I'm saying is a hot tub gossip session, kind of a universal love is what I'm learning. So here we are, a special on-the-go episode of Emotionally Online where we're going to get the fuck into it. All right, it's bitch hours. Yeah, sound the alarms. Bitch hours, bitch hours, bitch hours. I've got shit I'd like to complain about. First and foremost, this new feature on TikTok called AI remixing. Would everyone like to place their bets on what it is? You know Stitch, you know Duet, these features on TikTok where you can take someone else's content and sort of mix it and modify it, make it your own, add on your own thoughts, whatever. The thing about duetting and stitching is that you're not really altering the original content, and it never appears that way on the platform. If someone is duetting or stitching a video, you can always tell that they are duetting / stitching a video and that the source material is evidently linked in the description always. Now, obviously, AI remixing is kind of the bastardized version of either of those things. It's not duetting, it's not stitching. You're not creating a new piece of content on your own, adding on to what someone just said, creating some type of conversation or back and forth. You are literally taking a piece of content that somebody else has uploaded and altering it with AI, changing what their voice sounds like, what it is they said, the background of their video, where they're saying the things they're saying, what they look like, all of the things that you can alter with AI. TikTok has now introduced a feature that allows people to do that with other people's content on the platform. You may be thinking to yourself, okay, well, that sounds like a fucking nightmare. How do I opt out of it? So glad you asked. There is no easy way to opt out of this. There is no opt me out button within the settings on your profile. In order to be opted out of AI remixing, you have to turn it off individually on every single video, including all the old videos that you uploaded before this feature was even a thing. So if you're someone who's posted hundreds of times, maybe even thousands of times on TikTok before this feature was introduced, if you don't want your old videos to be used for AI remixing, guess what? You have to go through and manually remove that ability on every single one of the videos. Isn't that supremely fucked up? To me, to be interested in a feature like this, you have to be like a premium grade rage baiter. I feel like features like this actively work to destroy the internet. As if the internet is not already just fucking eroding itself over time. Features like this encourage and reward bad behavior. They strip away creator autonomy, which is the whole way that platforms like this successfully function. I am always so confused when companies make decisions that seem to blatantly go against their primary user market. As a platform like TikTok, you are fueled by creators. If creators do not use your platform to create because you're implementing features that blatantly disrespect them and what they're uploading and just allow their likeness to be repurposed in kind of whatever way someone else sees fit, how are you going to have a successful platform? Unless you're totally cool with your platform just slowly evolving into a rage bait cesspool full of content intentionally making people angry so that they engage and people make money and everyone just collectively gets stupider over time because that's what's happening anyways. And if your platform's just full of AI slop content and people are addicted to your platform anyways, then they're probably not going to leave, even if all of the shit that's going on your platform is a whole bunch of nonsense. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I actually feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't feel like anybody is as angry about the AI shit as I think they should be. I am so sick of the indifference about all of it. And like, I feel like I'm seeing people get almost like burnt out from AI discourse. They don't want to engage with it anymore. Or they're just like, fuck, there's nothing we can do. Like the AI box has been opened and there's no way to close it. So we just have to accept it. If I see one more person say some stupid shit about being left behind by AI, like who was it? Was it Reese Witherspoon? She did some video where she was talking about, you know, wanting to learn about AI and take people along with her because you don't want to be left behind. In like the age of AI, you got to keep up with the technology. And it was the same shit she said about NFTs a couple of years ago, which obviously NFTs are just fucking dead at this point, and they were stupid from the start. And I am of the personal belief that the AI bubble is going to pop and that there is a breaking point here. I don't believe that universally we are so fucking stupid to let this keep going and going and going. Like, I believe there has to be a stopping point, a point where the bubble bursts and things start to collapse. I just don't see it being around the way it is right now in perpetuity. I just think that at some point things are going to change. Regulations are going to have to be introduced or else. Like, there's just like no other option. It's either that or the planet slowly dies and everyone gets dumber and everything that made life exciting and inspiring and energizing is slowly stripped away from us until, I don't fucking know, everyone gets rid of social media altogether, or we all kill ourselves. I don't know. None of it is impressive. None of it is cool. I saw, and this is the stuff that sends me, where I saw video on Instagram of someone talking about an AI hack that they found that totally revolutionized their workflow. And I don't even know why I watch these videos when they appear on my feed, because I know that they piss me off every single fucking time, because it's just someone using AI to circumvent some part of the creative process, take it off of their plate entirely. And it is 99.9% of the time something that I see as being valuable. Even if it's fucking tedious or annoying, I still think it's a valuable part of the creative process. There are very few, if any, examples you could give me of parts of the creation process that I think is useful with being done away with. I think it is valuable to go through the periods where you are just trudging through it, trying to get to the other side of it, where it is difficult and you're uninspired, or I don't know, all the admin tasks that go around being a creative person. Creating is not just like the act of shooting, the act of editing, the act of designing. Like, so much of creation is ideating and brainstorming and tweaking and organizing and pitching and, you know, setting everything up to be able to distribute it to people, and all these other parts of it that are less glamorous and less exciting and less energizing. But I believe that there's still value there in being a creative person who is able to go through all parts of it yourself. You guys know that. I've gone on many rants about this on the show before. But I saw a video online of someone, again, just trying to productivity-ify the creative process. And I look in the comments and I see creative people that I admire. Oh my God. Do you know how fucking heartbreaking it is to see creative people that you admire succumbing to this bullshit? Like, it actually breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. What do you mean you're more concerned about being productive than like giving a shit about your creative self, feeling protective of it? I don't understand. I feel like fundamentally we are built of different things. If as a creative person you can do that. I don't really understand it. To me, like, AI is so antithetical to the very thing that makes you a creative. It is beyond me that any creative person could be down for it. It actually makes me feel like you are not creative and never have been, because I don't know another way to sort through that in my mind. Like, maybe you genuinely only ever made content because you wanted money, because you wanted views, because you wanted notoriety. It was never about creating. It was always about finding ways to optimize and make money. That's the only way I can make sense of it inside my brain. And I don't like to do that, because that's really upsetting to me to think that, I don't know, creative people that I like and admire, or that I thought that I liked and admired, could be super down with the AI wave in ways that I just think are bad. So what do we do about TikTok? I don't fucking know. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments. What are you thinking? What's your general consensus feeling about being on TikTok at the moment? Are you on? Are you off? If you're a creator, how are you reckoning with this? It's really kind of a hard thing to navigate when you're like, I don't want to be on this platform, but I feel like I have to be, from like a business perspective. I hate it here. The second thing I want to bitch about in this week's bitch hour is negging on Hinge. What the fuck is happening? What is going on? I've been very on and off Hinge for the last year, ? At this point. I will turn my profile on, match with a bunch of people, and then pause my profile immediately. So I'm only on there in short bursts. But this last burst that I did on Hinge, I just feel like the negging has gotten out of control. I have something on my profile about being into bar trivia and at one point being ranked 7th in all of New York City. Thank you very much. I will not forget that title. It meant so much to me. I love playing trivia. I loved being super competitive with it. The New York City Trivia League, thousands of people play every single week. Over the course of a season, At the very end, we ranked 7th overall. It was fucking huge, especially because a lot of the teams that play in the league are literally made up of former Jeopardy winners. Like, it was no small feat to get to that point. Trust that hours of hard work went into that, okay? Some people play sports, they do football, they join a kickball league, whatever it is. I joined a trivia league, and for several years of my life, I dedicated myself to knowing as much random shit as possible. And look where it landed us. I have something about that on my profile because it's a good, fun little conversation starter. And tell me why someone opened up a conversation with me by being like only 7th and like a smirk emoji or something. I'm like, is that supposed to work on me? Is that supposed to fucking work on me? Has that worked on anyone else before? Looking at something that clearly I'm proud of, that is an interesting conversation starter. You can ask me so many questions about that. You can share similar experiences if you're also into bar trivia, if you were also playing in the New York City Trivia League, but instead you're like, only 7th with a smirk face? As if 7th in the whole fucking league, in the whole fucking city is something to scoff at. I start getting actually mad, and I'm like, you know what? I have to just rein it in and pull it back because it's not that serious. And this guy truly has not thought twice about this message after he sent it. But why? Why? You match with a beautiful woman. You're trying to flirt with her. You do so by belittling something she's clearly proud of. Have you ever flirted before? Are you fucking new here? Like, to me, it's just embarrassing. Okay. You're like day one talking to a woman and you think it's funny. This is his first time speaking to a woman and he's laughing. None of us are laughing. I respond well to compliments. I respond well to flattery. I respond well to initiative. You know, these are things that really work on me as someone with high self-esteem. I truly think the only way negging would work on me is if I thought very little of myself. Then maybe it would charm me. Unfortunately for you, I've never been that bitch. What happened to feeling like you had to impress someone? What happened to putting your best foot forward? You know, what happened to these things? Have we lost the ancient texts? Are they ancient texts? Like, are we so far gone that they are now ancient? The idea of being complimentary and kind and trying to impress someone that you are or could potentially be going on a date with, are those texts ancient? If they are, I might just wrap it up here. Because what's happening? I was saying to my friend the other day on the phone, I think that dating apps really officially are dead. We've been witnessing the death of dating apps happen in like a slow decline over the last couple years, but I feel like they might really officially be dead. Last shovel of soil was placed upon that casket. They've already been sealed up. Everything's done. Gravestone is there. It took them a while to be fully buried, but now I truly feel that they officially are. I think at this point I would rather flirt with people IRL anyways. It's more fun, which is kind of crazy because I feel like a couple of years ago I would have told you that doing that seemed really intimidating to me and just like out of my comfort zone, brought up a lot of insecurities for me. But now I genuinely just feel like I don't give a fuck. I also feel probably the hottest I've ever felt in my life. So what if you go up to someone at a bar and shoot your shot and they're not interested, or even that they're fucking rude? So what? That reflects more on them than it ever would of you. And like at this point, you reach a certain age where I feel like you've already experienced your fair share of rejection and rudeness and people just being fucking nasty, that not that you become immune to it, because I'm not immune to it at all. I'm a sensitive girl. I have soft skin, not thick skin. I know this about myself. I actually don't believe that I need thick skin. I've accepted that I don't have it and I never will. And I'm okay with letting the world impact me emotionally and feeling what I need to feel and continuing to move through that and keep trying and keep showing up. For me, the only thing is not letting the things that hurt me or affect me emotionally scare me from trying again. But as long as I'm continuing to get back up and get out there. I'm not bothered at all by having soft skin and with being sensitive and impacted by the things that people say and the way that I'm treated. I actually think that's very normal and even a healthier way to live than being someone that is so closed off to what they're feeling and doesn't care at all about what anyone has to say about them ever. Like I kind of believe there's a healthy amount of feeling that we can all do. But at this point, I've experienced my fair amount of shitheads and rejection and people that are just not that nice. That like, what's one more? What is one goddamn more? Particularly when you feel so confident about what it is you bring to the table. I feel hot. I like the person looking back at me in the mirror, both in more shallow ways and who I am at my core. Like, I like this person. If you don't, taste is genetic. Blame your mother. This is what I always say. Tattoo that one. Someone. Not everyone has to like me because I like me. I know how fucking fabulous it would be to get to live a life with me because I do it every day. It is fabulous. Lots of people would love to be partnered up with me for life. And honestly, I think I see more value in putting myself out there and having it not work out than not doing it at all. That's where we're at on that. Hinge is full of people who think negging works. It doesn't. And if you are someone who is currently being charmed by negging, someone putting you down, belittling your accomplishments, particularly when they don't know you well enough to be like jokey with you. Because listen, I'm a competitive girl. If someone that I know well wants to challenge me to a trivia off and get a little competitive with me, I love that 100%. I love when people who know me clock me and challenge me and bring out my competitive side, and we can get a little messy with it. We can be a little rude to each other. I actually enjoy when people that I know are a little bit rude to me. I talked about this on the Patreon a couple weeks ago. That sounds like a weird way to put it, but it's like I talked about it in the context of game nights, and like I love when friends get a little feisty with me at game nights and we can have a little like fake jokey fight while we're playing games. Or I talked about the last time I had a game night with some of my friends the next morning. One of my friends called me a dictator, a total fucking dictator when I play games, which is true. And I loved it because it was so funny. It was like a totally accurate read of me. So I'm all good with people making fun of me and being playful with me, you know, being rude in a playful way when you know me. When you don't know me, it's just rude. When you do know me and you're a little rude and playful with me, it comes off as charming and endearing because you know me so well that you know exactly how to clock me. You see me in all my complexities. It makes me feel seen and loved when people do that to me, when they know me. When you are rude and you don't know me, it just comes off as rude. Hope that helps. Let's get into some of these audience submissions. Got my laptop pulled up on the side of the hot tub here, and we're gonna see what the hell's been on your guys' hearts and minds this week. And trigger warning for sexual violence on these first two submissions. Have you heard about the rape academy that CNN exposed? This, in addition to the Epstein files, is really making me want to crawl inside my body and hide. My faith in humanity feels like it's shriveling up day by day. Something new is uncovered. And most of all, I feel like I'm becoming more and more fearful of men. I guess my question to you is, how are you holding up? Do you have any words of wisdom when it comes to digesting what's going on and how to act in the face of it? Would it be totally crazy to say that despite the fact I know decent men in real life, this is making me want to stay single forever? Well, to answer that last question, no, I don't think it's insane that despite knowing decent men in real life, that seeing news like this would make you fearful enough to want to stay single forever. I think that a lot of women feel that. I'm in an era of life right now where most of my close friends are single, and it's not true for all of them, but I do think for a lot of my friends right now, one of the leading reasons for why they're single and not actively dating, because that's another caveat. A lot of my friends are single, and a lot of my single friends aren't active daters. They're not on dating apps. They use them more loosely in the same way that I do. Dating is not really a central focus or pillar of life right now. And I think for many of them, one of the reasons why is sort of like the state of patriarchy and misogyny in the world, and how aggressive the world at large is to women. I think especially in the States right now, with Trump being in office and abortion laws still being so restricted in so many places in this country, it feels very heavy. You know, I think everyone feels this everywhere, but there's layers to it politically as well. When I saw the CNN Rape Academy thing, I wasn't the most shocked. We've heard stories like this before. I think Giselle Pellico, that brave woman that has fought back against her ex-husband, who would drug her and invited multiple men into their home to assault her when she was drugged and sleeping. That whole trial that happened a couple of years ago was kind of a similar thing to what's happening here. And I also think of like Andrew Tate and the fucking School of Men, this fucking course that he had on his website being sold for so long, which essentially was teaching young men how to sex traffic and, you know, how to be an OnlyFans manager and just exploit women for money under the guise of caring about them and dating them. There's been a couple examples of similar things in recent memory. So when I heard about this latest example, which, if you don't know, it was essentially uncovered that there was this Telegram group where men would exchange tips and ideas for how to best drug and rape their wives and girlfriends while they were asleep. And they would also exchange photos, videos, pornographic material of those things happening. This group doesn't exist in isolation. There are many groups that exist just like this. There are entire websites dedicated to hosting this type of pornographic content. One of the websites that's been referenced over and over again in this is a website with over 62 million monthly visitors. So it's not a small number of people. And I completely empathize and feel similarly this fear and inability to trust, given both the state of the world and what I'm witnessing, and also in my own experiences. I think being a victim of sexual violence myself and witnessing sexual violence on such a grand scale like this in the news, and every time you open your phone, it brings up a lot of weird emotions. And I hate to be like, I don't know, I don't like feeling like I'm not shocked by these things. That's actually one of the things I hate the most, is that sometimes when learning things like this, I don't even necessarily feel shocked by it anymore, because we've witnessed over and over again how little consequences are given to men who behave like this and that treat women like this. So rarely do women who are victims of sexual violence ever truly see justice from their abusers. And I totally understand what you're saying with like having a hard time almost reckoning with it inside your brain, because you have men in your life that you know and love and trust, but even knowing that is not enough to override this fear of people you don't know and this fear of opening up and trusting new people. Obviously, I relate to that. Exploring my sexuality with another person was largely off the table for several years following my assault, and it pretty much still is now. I started exploring it, feeling more comfortable to explore it at the end of last year, but that was the first time in 4 years, I think, that I had even kissed someone, that I had even like actively flirted with someone and felt excited by it rather than scared by it. And even still, there's so many things I won't do because I'm just, I don't know. It's taken me so long to feel comfortable and to find healing in the face of that. And I think a lot of it was me also having a hard time coming to terms with it and like saying the hard parts out loud. I was assaulted by 2 people, one of which was a friend. And I think for a long time, I had a really hard time using those words in connection to my friend and seeing them in that light. I wanted to believe that they didn't understand or they were confused or that the other person was entirely to blame and it wasn't my friend at all. And I think it took me years to accept that my friend was also to blame for what happened and that I was allowed to feel sadness and anger towards their role in that night and begin to process that side of it. But when I tell you it took me years to even accept that that was an okay thing for me to feel, it can be truly so complicated to sort through your own feelings after experiencing being violated like that and having to watch it play out towards other women in the news in different ways, in ways that scare you. I get it. And I don't know that I have a word of wisdom or beautiful way to wrap up this question. I just want to say that I understand you and that I feel it too, and that I know a lot of other women who feel similarly, who have gone through similar things. And I believe we are deserving of a love that is patient and that makes us feel understood and safe and like we can truly exhale and trust. And it's okay if that takes longer. You deserve someone who is eager to make you feel at home with them, someone who doesn't push you or force you to do things that you're not ready for. It's okay to take your time, to take as much time as you possibly need. It's okay to be less open, to date less, to have sex less, to do all of it less. You don't have to explain yourself and what you're comfortable with to anyone. And I think just take solace in community with other women and sharing these experiences and feelings and knowing that you're not alone and that it's a totally understandable thing to be deterred by. Sometimes you just have to sit in the hard part. And sometimes that hard part lasts a really long time. But yeah, I was also disturbed when I saw that news come out, and my heart just breaks for the women who were victims in all of this and the women that are currently being victimized at the moment. The ones that are documented and the ones that aren't. I just feel for all of them. And I wish that I had something more motivational to say right now. Hi, Maddie. I was wondering if you could give your perspective on something that's on my mind a lot these days. I haven't had sex in over a year and absolutely can't imagine doing it casually with someone there is no romantic potential with. Partly because I'm working through some physical and emotional sexual trauma that requires a lot of trust for me to engage sexually with a person. Partly because I'm just a lover girl who wants to have sex only when there is a true connection. Partly because of my anxious attachment style. You and me are fucking birds of a feather, sister. I'm fine with choosing what feels right for me to not have casual sexual encounters, but nevertheless, I feel like I'm bursting with romantic and sexual energy that has been dammed up over the last year. There is a possibility that I won't have sex for years, which makes me sad and also feel weird since this is quite uncommon, at least in my bubble. Somehow this makes me feel like less of an empowered woman, even though I completely stand behind my choices of not having casual sex. Maybe it's because I still crave sexual connections, but the circumstances need to be almost perfect in order for me to go for it. But since they aren't, I just need to wait for the right man. Only writing this sentence just gave me the ick. I figured that you can maybe relate to some points, and if so, it would be great to hear your perspective or advice on it. Thanks for all that you do. Oh, I really relate to this one. I've actually thought about this a lot. I think especially as someone who used to be like very sexually empowered, or at the time, that's what I would have told you. and in general has a very sex positive belief system and outlook on sex and sexuality, very pro sex ed, very pro everyone doing whatever it is that they want to sexually, not a fan of slut shaming, body shaming, any of the like. I think I sometimes worried that people assumed, I think particularly in the beginning when I stopped having sex, but also wasn't really comfortable talking about why it is that I stopped having sex, I often worried that people would think that I was judging them for having sex, or that my choice to not have casual sex was one rooted in sexual shame or my judgment of women who do. I sometimes worried that people wouldn't understand me, or that they'd think I was, I don't know, regressing in my values. Because I think when you think of someone being celibate or not having sex for whatever reason, you think of somebody who's like sexually repressed and is maybe super religious, or I don't know, thinks lowly of people who have a lot of sex or have casual sex, or, you know, sex out of marriage, whatever it is. But I just think the reality is that sex is so fucking complicated, and it's such a nuanced topic of conversation, and we contain the ability to share so many truths at once. It is the truth that I think everybody should have as much or as little sex as they want. I don't believe in shaming people for the choices that they make, which also means I don't believe in shaming people for choosing not to have sex. And my choice to stop having sex for all those years, and still to this day not have penetrative sex, came from all the same things that you listed. It stemmed from sexual and emotional trauma, and how I was processing and reacting to that in the aftermath of it, and what I needed at the time. And I lost interest in it. I couldn't feel totally comfortable with it anymore, so I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel interested in it. And it was so strange to go from being someone who would have described myself as being very sexually empowered. And at the time, I used to make a lot of sex positivity, sex ed content online, and I slowly tapered off of doing that kind of content after I was assaulted, because I truly had nothing to say about it anymore. I had a hard time talking about it in the way that I used to. Sometimes I even felt like I would have been lying if I talked about sex in this super exciting and juicy gossip kind of way. Like, there was a period of time in my life where I would hook up with someone, or my friends would hook up with someone. We'd all be like, oh my God, I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to tell you exactly how last night went. And you're getting into the juicy details of it all. And it's just like, I don't know, it's fun and it's exciting and it's new, and you feel good about it, and you feel hot and you feel desired and you feel all these things. And it was like overnight, my entire relationship with it changed. And now it's way more fucking complicated. There are so many factors at play now. Sex can make me feel hot and sexy and desired and all of these things. Still, it's not that it can't. It's just that now the bar to entry there is so much higher, and it would take a much more specific set of circumstances for me to feel that way. Now I do require a lot more trust, and there have been moments there where I felt frustrated with my relationship to sex, and I don't know. I think the hookup culture of it all sometimes makes you feel like people are not willing to be as patient as you would require them to be. There were definitely moments where I felt like my disinterest in hooking up was almost a blockade in dating. It kind of deterred me from dating altogether, because I didn't want to do any of that, and because I knew it was going to take me a long time to want to do that, and I just wasn't certain that anybody was going to want to be patient for me. Now, obviously, in the present moment, my feelings have changed a little bit, in that I do feel comfortable engaging in some sex acts, just not all of them, and that's fine too. Things change. You shift what feels comfortable over time, and right now I still don't feel comfortable with penetrative sex, and that's okay. And I know that I am deserving of a partner who will be patient with me. I think about, like, if the roles were reversed, if I was dating someone and things were going great and they confided in me and told me that it just takes them a little bit longer, it requires a little bit more trust for them to feel totally comfortable doing something sexually or even something not sexual. If someone just tells me more about them, something that was difficult for them in their life, something that they carry with them, something that they struggle with, that they need me as someone they're seeing to be understanding of, I know that I would feel lucky to be given the opportunity to show up for them, that I would feel like it was a privilege to be able to love them through whatever it is that was challenging to them. It would never be a deterrent to me to learn that somebody required more time and patience and care from me. So I don't know why I assume that it would be a deterrent to other people to learn that I required care and patience and comfort. That is not asking for too much. And I am deserving of someone who loves me enough to feel that it's a privilege to walk through that time period of learning to trust and learning to feel more comfortable with me. If they don't feel that way, I don't know that we would be a match anyways. So I think at this point, I've accepted that I feel the way I feel, and I don't feel as bitter or angry about what happened to me as I used to. Again, it took like 5 years to get to the place I am now. It took like 4 years before I started really talking about it. And I feel like you just have to remind yourself that sex is ultimately such a complicated subject. We can't so easily put ourselves into boxes of like, these people are sex positive and sexually empowered and these people aren't. And in order to be a sex positive person, you need to be having the most amount of sex possible. That is absolutely not true. I feel like part of being someone who is sex positive is encouraging people to do whatever it is that they want with their bodies, whether that is having a lot of sex or having no sex at all. Ultimately, it's no one's fucking business what we do or don't do. And you choosing not to do something for the comfort and safety and security of yourself and your own heart is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of at all whatsoever. But I totally understand how you're feeling, because I definitely felt it too at times, and just wanting people to know that my choice to not have sex was so deeply personal and didn't reflect some higher value I had of what I thought other people should do or don't do. And I was never judgmental of anyone else. And yeah, my not having sex never came from a place of judgment. And I don't know that that is talked about as much. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. And particularly with topics like sex that are incredibly nuanced and not black and white, and not everything can so easily be put into boxes. It would actually be insane for someone to think that by knowing one thing about you, they can understand everything and, you know, all the context of what you've been through and why you choose the things you do. And if they do think that, it's either their first day on earth or they're just not the brightest bulb in the box. Brightest bulb in the light fixture, in the chandelier. Okay, there it is. With that, I'm going to throw it on over to the post show because I'm getting hot. So we need to wrap this up before I boil to death in this pot. I'm like a hermit crab that's crawled out of its shell, and they're trying to boil me right now. Live on camera, I'm being boiled. So we're throwing this on over to Patreon. We're going to continue this conversation on the Patreon post show, where we will get even more into it. If you want to support this podcast, what I create on the internet, joining my Patreon is the best and easiest way to do that. Be sure to follow the podcast on socials at Emotionally Online Pod. Follow me at Maddie Drosbeck, and I will see you guys in next week's episode. Goodbye.